Push to shout 76. How you doing? Let's chat. Let's have a nice, cordial discussion about video games.
It's almost E3.
It is, but I know this is hype season, so this might be difficult. But
Hypecast.
let's try to keep, let's be polite, be nice
76.
gamers,
How you doing?
not mean gamers.
We
Skippy,
always are here on Push a Shout.
what's up? Before we get into all the hot leaks,
the hype,
the hottest rumors, leaks, and tips, tricks, and skateboard moves. What do you got?
I finally have played the Witcher expansions.
Okay.
And let me tell you, fucking amazing.
I heard that Hearts of Stone is better than the main game.
Hearts of Stone is incredible. I think it's the best part of the game so far.
Damn.
And that's saying a lot because the main game has a few little storylines, like the Bloody Baron storyline and all that stuff. I think it's better than that, but I mean, you're comparing to the comparison's kind of meaningless. But it is so good. It goes places that the main game doesn't even really touch, like in terms of like the fantasy style of it. Like it's just a completely different kind of story.
A different kind of story in what way?
So, like, let me just tell you the concept. I don't think this will spoil it.
Okay.
The concept is, you meet a guy and he's kind of mysterious, and he sends you on a mission, on a monster hunting mission, and you get knocked out by the monster, and it turns out, so there's a toad in the Oxenfurt sewers, and women are going down there to kiss the toad because they think it's a curse and that the toad is really a prince. It's that fairy tale
thing. Is it just a horny toad?
It's a giant horny toad. and it actually turns out it is a prince, and when you kill it, it turns back into the prince, but he's dead, and he's a prince from Kovir, some far off land, and some soldiers come and they drag you away. You've been injured in the fight. They drag you away and they're going to take you and execute you for killing the prince. And a mysterious man, while you're on the brig in the ship, a mysterious man approaches you and asks if you'd like to be released, escape. And you say,
there's
well,
a catch.
He doesn't. I don't know if he says anything about a catch, but you're like, yeah, I would. And he walks away, and then like seconds later, a storm engulfs the ship, blows it to pieces, and you get knocked out in the shipwreck. And they capture you again, but they've got you tied up, and you escape because you're Geralt. And then of course the mysterious man. Yeah, you have your dues to pay, and so you meet him at a crossroads, and he gives you an offer that you can't refuse, that kind of thing. And
is he like the devil? That's kind of cool.
He's like this god of some sort, and like he's very clearly a higher being, but he's really mysterious, and it's fascinating. I love it. It's so good, and it's not all that long. I think it's like 8 hours long probably, and you get a few side quests. But it's amazing. And so I got through that pretty quickly, and then I moved on to Blood and Wine, and that
one is that one's the whole new area.
Yeah, it's
right. Okay.
I knew the new area was big. I don't think I even realized the scale of it is literally like a city basically the size of Novigrad and landscape about the size of Velen.
That's great. That's awesome, because that's a lot of content.
Yeah, full of quests too. I mean, like it's like you're like getting a new game basically. It's like The Witcher 4 almost. I don't know how long it's going to take me to play, but I'm also reading the books simultaneously. And someone on Twitter told me that I should try to finish the books before I play the expansion. That's not going to happen, but I'd like to kind of keep up with them because there's a lot of characters that carry over and stuff. But it's really good too. It's about vampires, and
Ooh.
And the
I guess that's the
area, yeah, the new area is completely different. I mean, it's like the whole color palette and everything is completely different. It's bright and more fantastical and stuff. It's cool. It is a really, really cool game in general?
Yeah, I still have to finish it. I'm just
Yes, you do.
I'm plodding through it at
You
a
need to
snail's
finish it.
pace. I don't know why. I'm enjoying it, but
At least to play Hearts of Stone, and of course you can play Hearts of Stone. Like you can just start a new game and play Hearts of Stone, but I think it's worth just finishing the main game first. I'll tell you one thing. I've gotten more used to the combat in The Witcher 3. On my second playthrough, after like reaching level like 15 or 20, if you unlock the right skills, it makes the combat way more bearable. People always complain about the combat,
what
and I
skills?
was complaining about the combat. There's one in particular where you can dodge, and while you're dodging, you're invincible.
Oh shit.
That's
Okay,
like
I need
a
that.
necessity.
I need that.
There's another one where adrenaline points give you the ability to cast spells. That one's really useful. Oh no, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. It says
we
that
always
there's
having Skype
internet
issues?
connection problem, and I'm actually having to duck down right now. Because the Skype thing, it raised the little bar up at the bottom, and
I
now
was
we lost the
wondering what you
video.
were doing.
Yeah, it raised the little bar up at the bottom, so it forced me out of view. And and because it's like the new OBS and not the cool older OBS, it takes fucking forever to crop anything. So
I haven't updated OBS.
it still says 0 dropped frames, so and Mumble's
I mean,
working fine.
yeah, I'm not.
But-
There's no lag.
So I guess we're just looking at some Skype pictures now. It's a good
That's fine.
podcast, ladies and gents. If you go back on, I'll just give you a call. But did you have anything more to
Whatever.
say about Wisher?
Well, yeah. Just if you upgrade your character in the right way and you figure out how the combat works, it gets way better about halfway through the main game as you level up. Like most of my complaints about the combat are gone now. Like it's not great. It's not Dark Souls, but it's decent. In fact, some of the fights can be pretty exciting, especially once you start learning like the uses for all the different signs and all that stuff. It gets way better.
The combat in that game, it's never enough to really irritate me or anything, but there's just some times where it just doesn't work the way you want it to. Like, it's
Yeah.
very strict about how it'll let you dodge, and sometimes you'll kind of get backed into a weird corner or something, and
Yeah.
you can't really dodge
And
anywhere.
like some monsters that don't feel like they should be that hard are incredible. Like drowners. If you fight like 3 drowners
Yeah.
at once, it's like one of the hardest
drowners.
things in the game, and it shouldn't be. But it's just because of the way they like lunge at you and stuff. And that all gets fixed once you unlock abilities. I wish it didn't make you unlock the abilities to make the combat viable, because really, I mean, it isn't good until you start unlocking that stuff. But once you do, you start feeling way more powerful. And I mean, the game's still challenging, especially the expansions kick up the difficulty quite a bit. But the game's challenging. But you know, if you use your potions and all that stuff, if you prepare and you know how to fight, it's good. So it's kind of exactly what it should be. It like makes you really prepare and think about how you're gonna complete the fight. So yeah, good fucking game.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get back into it.
You do.
I've been playing basically only Majora's Mask for the past week. So I guess I'll talk a little more about it this time than I did last. I've gotten a lot farther, and it's really sinking in. I didn't really get the full picture when I played it as a little tyke. That is a very bleak game. And I know that everybody says that about Majora's Mask, but it's more even than what I was expecting. I mean, just the basic setup of it, where you complete a side quest and you help somebody out in their hour of need, and everything's great, and they do a little dance maybe, and thank you, and give you a reward. But then when you reset the clock, all their troubles are back, but you already got the reward. And that's true of every quest in the game, including the main quests. So every area has its own, like, trouble when you go there. Like, the swamp is full of poison, and the ocean is dying, and the water's going murky, and the mountain is trapped in an eternal winter, and it's stuff like that. And when you kill the boss in that area, it's this, you know, it's a little cutscene where the ice is all thawing out and everyone's back to normal, and in any other game, that would be the end, and then you'd really have no reason to go back there. But in Majora's Mask, the very second you reset the cycle, everything's terrible again. And I don't know, it's just such a strange feeling. Because you do have reasons to revisit those areas. There's side quests and things to do. And it's just so odd where it's like, I saved these people, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, that there's no way that you can help everybody at once. Because the time is so limited, a lot of quests, they demand your attention over the entire 3-day cycle. And so you really can only, by the end of any given set of 3 days, there's only going to be 2 or 3 happy people in the entire world. And then it's all set to 0. And there's just this sense of death coming from every corner of that game. The transforming masks, they're all dead people, and they're just like the hollowed out versions of their faces. And whenever you put them on, it looks painful.
That animation.
Such a cool game. There's really nothing like it in that series. And I don't know, it's just got such a sense of focus, where every character has a schedule. They're going to be somewhere at this time, and you could set your watch to the way that these characters move around the world.
Yeah.
And they stand out probably more than any other NPCs that I know of. I know that there's characters in a lot of games that have more interesting stories in themselves, but any kind of game with the generic villagers, they don't do it as well as Majora's Mask, because every single person, every NPC has their little story that you can find, and they have a routine. And because they only had to do 3 days, everybody has a very specific and well thought out routine. It's really neat. It's a really neat game.
Yeah. We'll talk about E3 later, but I was thinking about Zelda and how Nintendo's going to be showing the new Zelda game, and how I'm really worried that it's just going to be the most standard Zelda game imaginable.
I'm worried about it too. I guess we can talk, because there's more to E3 than just Zelda.
Yeah,
so I guess we can talk about the E3
about.
Zelda now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much there is to talk about, because I don't think there's been...
We can talk about our fears, maybe, because I've got some fears.
I'll tell you what my fear is. My fear is they're making this open world Zelda game.
Yep.
And that's going to be the thing about this Zelda game, and everything else about it is just going to be Zelda. And it's just, I feel like it's not going to have any personality beyond, like, look, we're Nintendo, and we've done something crazy that other games have been doing for a decade and a half with, like, this really expansive open world. I don't know. It just seems really worrisome to me.
Yeah, there's a few things that worry me with the new Zelda. The first is that it's open world. We saw Metal Gear Solid 5. The stress of making an open world game is so demanding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was Metal Gear Solid 5's problem, but
well, I think that was one of its problems.
Maybe,
like
yeah.
it was certainly a drain on resources and time that could have been better spent. And even though a lot of care was put into Metal Gear's open world elements, there still never was quite the highs of sneaking around a well-designed scenario that was present in
like,
3, and even Ground Zeroes.
I always felt like each little base or village or whatever could have just been its own little area, and that would have been fine, because you're very rarely moving between them. You're very rarely taking advantage of the wide open world.
Right.
So, yeah.
And at least, Zelda has the horse, and, going through the fields is something that it could do, but I don't know, man. They've done 2 games with big overworlds before. They did Skyward Sword and Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And in Wind Waker, it wasn't so much of a problem as it was in Skyward Sword, but for the most part, these big-ass worlds they make are just empty. They have not shown that they can populate a large amount of space with interesting content. And now that the entire gimmick, if you want to call it that, is that it's an open world, is there going to be anything in it?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's got me worried. Two is kind of like what you were saying, that it might just be the most standard Zelda imaginable. I don't replaying Majora's Mask now has 100% cemented it for me that I really don't need to go back to Hyrule. There's so many cool ideas that could get made with the dungeon crawling formula and like Link, and I don't need to go to Hyrule. I don't need to fight Ganon. But I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's just going to be Zelda, but open world.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to play that. I will, of course. I'm going to buy all these games, basically, unless they actually become irredeemable somehow.
But see, that's the problem. You're part of the problem.
Part of the problem. Well,
I think Nintendo knows that everyone's going to buy a Zelda game no matter what it's like. So it's like, well, just make a Zelda game.
Yeah, but even like the worst 3D Zeldas have still been worth playing.
Well, sure.
And worth
I'm
the
not saying
money.
it's going to. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bad game, but it's not going to have like Wind Waker was an open world game. Sure. First of all, it benefited from being on islands. That was where all the content was just separate islands. But also, it had a style. It was a completely different world. It was its own thing, and same thing as far as I can tell from Majora's Mask. This one just looks like it's just going to be what, like...
It looks like green fields, which is a little... They haven't shown us that much.
No, yeah, you've just seen, like, glimpses of it.
But, yeah, the fact that that's how they show off the open world means that's what the world is. It's rolling green fields. I don't know. I am a little worried about that stuff. But what gives me a little bit of hope, I was... reading for the first time the Iwata Asks. It was one of the last Iwata Asks that he did with Eiji Onoma. I can't pronounce his name, but the Zelda director guy. And he was talking with Iwata, and they were describing the process of remaking Majora's Mask. And what they did, the director put together this what in the world list, he called it, where he went through the entire game and anything that made him go, why is this way, he made a note of, and then that was delivered to the team that was responsible for remaking it. And so that was one little neat thing. But the more directly relevant thing is he was describing what made Majora's Mask special accurately. It's not one of those things where it was a total fluke and like they may not have known what they were making, because that seems very possible with Nintendo.
Yeah,
but he even like outright said Ocarina of Time was a welcoming game, whereas Majora's Mask was a challenge. And so I don't know. It seems like he's aware that. One thing he said was that he was very, very surprised by how good the reception was to the announcement of Majora's Mask. He wasn't expecting it.
All right, what have you done anything other than Majora's Mask?
Not really. I mean, I start my real job next week, so just basically that.
Stuff.
So yeah, this stream's basically fucked completely. So whatever you get, you get. Anyway.
Whatever. Recording's going, so...
Yeah, I don't have that much to say, video game-wise.
Yeah, video game-wise, I'm done too, but
I played a lot of Overwatch. A shit ton of Overwatch, but not much more new stuff to say about that.
Overwatch.
Fun.
Have you been watching Game of Thrones?
No. I stopped caring about Game of Thrones like a few years ago, and it never got to the point where I like hated it or anything.
Yeah.
But it just I got bored. I got really bored.
I'm still watching it, but I'm also bored and just frustrated with like, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but oh my god, it's just every episode that goes by I care less and less, and the show's formulaic to the point where like, oh, they introduce a new character and they try really hard to make him likable, and it's like, oh, well, he'll probably die in this episode. And then he dies, and it's like, yeah, of course. And and it's just like, I get it. Everything's shocking, and then they try to surprise you with something, and it's like, no, the internet already figured this out like 6 months ago. I would say that's I mean, it's hard to. there are some definite main characters in the show, but the show's always been about like following a ton of different people, and then like some of them you don't even know why you're following their story until it finally ties into the rest of the thing. But like, I don't think that would be a valid complaint about the show, but it makes the main character's story really boring, and you don't care about it, and you just want it to get to the part where it matters, because you know it's building to something, and you know what it's building to, but it's taking forever to get there, and then it'll start a little subplot that you don't give a shit about that just wastes time. It drives me crazy. So I'm not done with. I'll keep watching it because who cares? It's an hour a week, but
it got too much
tough
for me. I couldn't.
Yeah, and I also realize like how much I forget about the show. Like it starts making callbacks, and I'm like, oh yeah, that happened, and I completely forgot it happened because the show's been going on for so long, and it's kind of sad because I really did like it. I liked the concept of Game of Thrones a lot, but yeah, caring less and less about it.
I sorry, this is about the stream again. I think I found a stable compromise. Just some white text, black background. We're good. So, do we want to talk about E3?
Yeah, hell yeah, we want to talk about E3.
Okay, I think we want to talk about E3. First, let's get the big stuff out of the way. The big guns, what everybody has been dying for. Watch Dogs 2. Yes, the people asked for it. They were clamoring, Skip.
Indeed, they were.
Have you ever heard a mob clamor?
Well,
you haven't heard them clamor like this.
You jest, but that is the biggest news from what I can tell from like how the internet has reacted. For whatever reason, people are talking about Watch Dogs 2 as if it's something that anyone should care about. Which, do you not learn from your mistakes? I don't understand. It's like Watch Dogs 1 didn't even happen. That's how people are acting. Like, oh, it looks really neat. Oh, it looks like maybe they're fixing the problems that one had. What evidence are you basing this on?
Irrational hope.
It looks like the same game.
But still, why even have any hopes pinned on these games?
I don't know. Why would you have any hopes pinned on a Ubisoft game in general?
Exactly. There are people who are very concerned about the fate of the Assassin's Creed series. And
you can shop for your clothes and you can buy snapbacks. So that's exciting.
Can you hear how excited
I just, I don't know. That was something I noticed from the gameplay trailer.
I'm glad to see this moving in this direction.
I'm glad there's representation in Watch Dogs.
Just like Battlefield 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to be a good game. There's like no way it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
There's no way. So,
but I think we're way past the point where Assassin's Creed 2 can happen. Assassin's Creed 2. I didn't get to play Assassin's Creed 2, or not that I didn't get to play. I just never did. I heard that was really good.
Great game.
Yeah. But I don't think they can do that again in the state that they're in. Why would they? Why would they? They can get the whole internet hyped up over Watch Dogs 2 of all things.
Reason.
Literally no reason. What was good about Watch Dogs? What is a single appealing factor of
like,
Watch
Dogs? Conceptually, it's good. Well, yeah, that you could say that about literally every Ubisoft game. Conceptually, it's good, but the execution never holds up.
It's theoretically good.
Yeah, I'm well aware of, but it actually like became one of my favorite games. It maybe doesn't deserve that, but I'm worried.
It was a good game.
It was a good game, but it had some serious flaws. But my worry is that they didn't realize what made that game good, and they're just kind of making another game and just kind of winging it. And they've talked about like, oh yeah, this was gonna have more action. It's gonna be more.
That's a little bit of a bad sign.
And they're including mandatory boss fights and stuff, which is like a huge complaint that people had. Such a big complaint that they had to fix it in a re-release.
Of all the things that Deus Ex just doesn't need, it's boss fights.
Yeah, it's so bizarre that that's something that they're sticking with. So that's kind of like, it just seems like their general outlook on what made the first game good, we need to do that again, is backwards. It's ass backwards. And the general style of it, too, just doesn't appeal to me very much, I don't think. But
I really did like the orange of Human Revolution.
Made fun of what they call the piss filter, but I think it was a great sense of... it gave it a sense of atmosphere and style that, like, it made it really unique, and I liked it. It was a good style.
That whole game it was memorable.
Style. So, yeah, whatever. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
We will. E3, this is a little dose of reality, or it was for me, when I realized that I'm actually going to be working. I'm going to be at work during E3, and that's never been true before.
I was at work
I'm going to miss
year.
out on the latest leaks, tips, and skateboard tricks.
I was at work, and I was carrying around my phone while doing my duties and stuff, catching bits and pieces of it. But
the Sony conference.
I have more of a desk job than I did then.
Oh, okay.
And so I think I'll just be able to bring my laptop and just literally just watch it at work. I don't think anyone would bother me about that. So I'll probably just do that.
Well, don't spoil anything for me.
I'm going to be live tweeting, man. I always live tweet.
Well, I'm not going to be checking Twitter.
I'm going to be making all the tweets.
Don't call my phone and inform me of the latest leaks,
Okay.
Twitter tricks.
I'll text them to you.
Okay, so Gwent's going to be a real game.
Gwent is apparently... They've trademarked Gwent as like its standalone thing, which I'm not surprised about, but...
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. They're gonna have to change the game significantly though to make it work in a multiplayer context because it's broken. Like Gwent is broken. It works great as a single player thing where you're just getting all these cards and getting better than everyone, but as a competitive thing, like it would just be a disaster if they just ported it as is, which I'm sure they wouldn't do. But yeah, I love the cult following that Gwent has captured.
Yeah, when I was playing the beginning of Witcher 3, I enjoyed the couple games of Gwent that I played, but I got really into the story of the game itself.
Yeah.
And then just started doing the quests, and then I got to the new areas, and everybody's decks were too strong. And so I would have to go back. I will eventually.
But do it. Go back.
But
just play Gwent against all the people that are like, it has like a Gwent quest line or whatever.
Yeah.
If you just play Gwent against all those people, it actually pays off.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually like a quest involved with
like an actual story.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to be good at Gwent to do it.
Do you enter a Gwent tournament and unlock the heart of the cards? And
I don't know about that, but you enter a tournament and it starts. I mean, it's not a big quest, but it's fun because you start acquiring the cards and you get better and better at it, and you start smoking people once you like figure it out. And it's just kind of fun.
We love to smoke here.
Yeah, we always
the natty herb.
420 up. They're re-releasing.
Why'd you put Skyrim?
They're re-releasing Skyrim. Everyone's calling it a remaster. It's not going to be a remaster. They might upgrade the graphics.
They won't.
Really minor.
It's just going to be on PS4 and Xbox One.
Probably.
With slightly
it's
better
just gonna
graphics.
be literally just a port. People say that the main reason they're probably doing it is to have mod support on those consoles, because they're trying to like implement mods on the consoles. I don't know. That whole thing just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. Like making mods an official part of the game. Just you would have to monitor it to such an extent. Like
it means
there's so many copyright
mods
breaking
eventually.
And R-rated mods that, and plus the mods that people make often, like usually what happens with these games that are moddable, someone comes out with, what do they call it? Like a base mod kit, I guess.
Like the script extenders? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to run it to download the other mods and have them work. And I don't know if they'll be able to support that on the consoles. Like, unless Bethesda goes all in with it, which, knowing Bethesda, that's far too much work.
They don't like work.
No, they do not like work at Bethesda. So I'm just not confident about that. But who cares? If you're playing Skyrim on a console, you deserve it. So
I played out. That's true. I did play enough minutes of Fallout 4 to really learn how much work Bethesda likes doing.
Yeah.
So
5 years to make all those games.
That is actually insane. Like, how can that take that long? It can't. It just
Well, I mean,
it
in their
can't.
defense, they do have a small team working on the like they work with a relatively tiny team, and that's part of the reason it takes so long. But still, those games are just Bethesda,
They
man.
ain't good.
Speaking of Bethesda, Prey 2 is apparently going to be a thing.
Oh, yeah, that was like canceled ages ago, right?
Ages ago, yeah. Apparently, they gave it to another studio. I think these are all rumors, but they're almost.
Oh, so Bethesda
basically
would just be
confirmed.
publishing it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, definitely for the best, but I still don't trust Bethesda as a publisher.
They did do Dishonored. Dishonored was really good.
I've heard Dishonored's very good. I played a little bit of it. I think I own it. I need to play more of it. But yeah, I mean, Prey 2 could be great. I hope they stick with the concept that they had originally, which is like, oh, you're a bounty hunter, and it has almost nothing to do with the original Prey, which is a
Did you play the original Prey?
Game. No, but I mean, I've seen it play. I know about it. And yeah, the concept that they had for Prey 2 had nothing to do with it. Like, it was just very, very loosely based on a tiny event that happened in the first game, and it's a completely different character and all that. But we'll see. It's a very cool concept if it works. If it doesn't work, then it's going to be super lame. I can see it being a Watch Dogs situation where everyone starts freaking out about it because it sounds awesome and then isn't. Which is, I was impressed that they canceled the original Prey 2 because everyone was so pumped up about it. They could have made money on that even if it was a bad game. And apparently they decided, no, this is not a good game. We need to scrap this. And
they seem to have their wits about them as publishers. I don't remember. I didn't play Elder Scrolls Online, nor ever will I. But it doesn't seem like they've been shoveling garbage out the door at Bethesda.
And I mean, apparently Doom is a Bethesda published game, right?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So it's
and I heard really good things about that. I gotta play.
I want to play. I need to get it because I mean, apparently it is phenomenal. I don't have the nostalgia for Doom though. I never played it as a kid, as a wee lad. But still, it seems like it's a great game. So yeah, I hope it's awesome. I really do. The original Prey 2 cinematic trailer is one of the best cinematic trailers that's ever been made. It's fantastic. I don't know if this doesn't count as E3 news, I guess, but it is news. The new Destiny expansion.
Hold on. Everybody has to prepare themselves.
Because we're going to be talking about Destiny?
Yeah, and everyone... It's going to rock their world, so I just want to give them a chance to prepare for this groundbreaking information. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because there's one interesting bit about it, but they're coming out with a new Destiny expansion. The interesting part about it, I know nothing about it, except that it's only going to be on the Xbox One and PS4. So they're just ditching the old platforms, which I was kind of surprised to hear. I thought that they would just do that with Destiny 2, but apparently they're making a new gen or a current gen only expansion, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. I'm reading the synopsis of it, and this is just,
who cares?
It's everything wrong with Destiny in like one sentence.
Gives a shit about Destiny.
Guardians must rise to the challenge to take their place as the next generation of Iron Lords. Along the way, they will join forces with a legend from humanity's golden age to defeat a plague of unstoppable evil once and for all. They just make shit up. Yeah. That's Destiny. They just make a bunch of crap up as they go along, and they just... DLC, sure, it totally fits Destiny, because Destiny is just a bunch of made-up garbage, and that's what DLC is. They just make it up.
Nobody plays the story.
I did.
They just want more... I know you did.
I bought it.
You're no longer playing it.
Exactly.
But there are a lot of people who are still playing it, and they don't give a shit.
That seems to be the theme of of the next few weeks. Is people
that is something that
shamelessly not giving a shit.
Something that concerns me a lot. This was actually in the context of GTA 5. GTA 5 also came out with a recent update, and I was reading about it, and it's an online-only thing. So, like, they've added some cars, and apparently they are still supporting GTA 5 quite a bit. They've added some cars and stuff, but you can only use them online. They don't add them to the single-player game, which I thought was weird, and then I had an epiphany that why would they add them to the single player game? The only people playing GTA 5 are the people playing it online, and the only reason they're supporting it online is because those people are stupid enough to give them a bunch of money through microtransactions, which I imagine has to be happening. Like apparently, there's a very large GTA 5 online community, and I assume a lot of them are paying money. And
gotta get the Megalodon
and
card.
I was thinking, what does that mean for the future of Rockstar? Are they going to realize how much more of a moneymaker persistent online gameplay is, and just say like, well, why don't we just make that kind of game?
I hope
it was a really dark.
I hope it just means that they're gonna continue.
I mean, GTA 5 sold like what, like maybe better than any other game ever. Like it sold incredibly well, made them a ton of money, so they don't need to change the formula from GTA 5. But it still scares me, just the thought of like, God, what if they just said like, well, multiplayer's the future, and multiplayer keeps people playing and keeps people paying money. We could charge a subscription or charge for clothing and skins and.
Yeah, like okay, so they've been not talking about it explicitly, but they've been sort of vaguely teasing. The publisher has that Red Dead is a series that we continue to support or something like that.
Sure.
They've said things to that effect. And I could see a new Red Dead game having the single player, I don't know, not get the love it needs in favor of a sprawling microtransaction-addled multiplayer mode.
I think it would be more likely with a game like GTA, but Red Dead will probably be. We'll probably get a Red Dead game before we'll get a GTA game. Although with Rockstar, who the fuck knows?
God, they could be going the way of Valve, where they don't need to make games anymore. They can just keep putting cars in Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, that's what I'm worried about. Is like because they don't call it. I mean, I call it GTA 5 Online, but it's GTA Online.
Yeah.
They purposefully removed the 5. Because they realized, well, this will be something that we can continue to support, and we don't want to bog it down by attaching it arbitrarily to the 5th GTA game.
The engine was so good that they don't need another one for a long time.
I mean, if you're Bethesda, you never need another engine.
When are we going to see Bethesda make MMOs? They're not MMOs,
Bethesda didn't make it, but they made Elder Scrolls Online.
When are they going to make a little sandbox
$1 million
session piece of crap? What was that?
Do you remember that from the Game Awards?
Oh, that's right. Where there was just a sweepstakes.
Play our game, you might win $1 million. Please play our game.
Damn. That actually got my brother.
There you go.
I don't know why. It makes me sick. It makes me fucking sick. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't think that'll happen to Rockstar, but just the mere possibility of it is terrifying, and it makes me sad about video games.
It seems like a lot of the old guard of prestige game developers are going that way.
Yeah, because it's where the money is, and to them it's where the future is. And unfortunately, we've already seen developers destroyed by chasing that dream. Just today I was reading about I think it was like the project design lead or something on the SimCity game did an interview.
Oh, the super botched EA one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did an interview where he said here was our biggest problem with SimCity, and it was that EA was trying to chase this idea of this will be a game that we just continue to support, so it's online only, and we update it and support it, and people keep playing it because it's online, and we do microtransactions and all that shit, and it destroyed the game from the beginning, from the inside out. That game was destroyed because that concept couldn't be sustained. It held back the development of that game significantly and made it worse.
That's dark.
And now Maxis isn't even a thing anymore. Yeah, it is dark, but it's the reality of video games. Ugh.
And now, Jesus, I really hope Nintendo doesn't go that way.
I am very
I mean,
interested
they're
to see
weird.
what the NX is.
They're
Let's say
weird
that.
enough that maybe they can be insulated from it for a while, but oh man, we don't know what the NX is. What if that's the always online ecosystem that Xbox didn't have the cojones to follow through with?
Yeah. I
Damn.
don't know. I doubt it, but I do think Nintendo is going to move towards a mobile game. I think you'll be seeing more and more mobile game like features from them. But we'll see.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I mean,
I feel bad now.
Video games are depressing. Speaking of depressing,
This
I don't know.
really is a terrible fate.
This isn't too depressing. So it just depends, I guess, on who you are. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I don't know if it's out or if it's about to come out.
Okay, somebody told me it came out, but I think they're lying.
I don't know because
That
it's
seems
on Steam,
not
and if
possible.
It's not on Steam.
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
Well, it's EA, so.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway,
It came out. When the hell did this happen?
it came out this week.
2
right?
days ago.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So people have been playing that, and from what I've seen, there's a very mixed response. You've got people who are praising it and saying, "Oh yeah, I mean it's the core of what I liked about Mirror's Edge, put into like an open world system. The combat's been improved." The free running has been improved, and it focuses on like getting from point A to point B as fast as possible. It's almost like a racing game. And then I've seen a lot of other people say, "Well, the story sucks. The open world doesn't do anything. All the side missions are the same and don't add anything to the game." I don't know. Some people hate it and some people love it. I'm interested in it. It seems like the kind of thing I would like.
I never played Mirror's Edge, but no, I never did.
Shit.
But what makes it kind of appealing to me is just the parkour. I don't care about that story. Whenever I would see those cutscenes in the original with like the animated like characters, that just turned me off.
And the story, I mean, the story might as well have been non-existent in the original. Like, it did not have an interesting story, and apparently the sequel doesn't have an interesting story either. But you still wanted to get through the game because it was really, I think the strongest point was the environments were so interesting, and it was so much fun to make your way through them. And so that's kind of what the sequel seems to be focusing on, so it seems like a good thing. But yeah, I don't know. I want to try it, but I think it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, I'll wait for it to be half off or something.
That'll probably take some years, but
we'll see.
It looks like it wasn't given the love they were expecting from mainstream review sites. I'm seeing like a 6.8, a 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know the reviews were that bad.
I like how we have to say that bad for above average scores.
Well,
even though that's an old point, but it still is just a strange thing.
But I mean, they made it for the relatively small Mirror's Edge 1 fans, which are not tiny. They're not like, I mean, there's a lot of them, but they're not it is not a mainstream game, and luckily they didn't try to make it a mainstream thing, so we should all be happy for that. Like, they could have turned it into a shooter, which is what everyone was worried about. And apparently you can't even pick up guns, which is even more restrictive
you
than
can't
Mirror's
shoot
Edge 1
guns?
was. I don't think you can
That's
shoot
good
guns at all.
That's really good news.
Mirror's Edge 1, you could pick up guns, but you couldn't really carry them very far or anything. But yeah, I think they've completely removed that mechanic.
That's good to hear.
So they obviously did not design it for the common denominator of the video game playing community. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like it should satisfy most Mirror's Edge fans as a Mirror's Edge. Well, it's not like a sequel; it's like a reboot or whatever. But it seems good. It seems like Mirror's Edge. It seems like more Mirror's Edge. So I don't know. I guess if you didn't like the first one, you definitely won't like the second one. But It seems alright. And I liked the first one a lot. I recommend you play through it. It would hold up. I mean, there's probably
The
some stuff
style
about
is
it
really
that would be
interesting.
hard to get past, but it's got a fantastic style, and it's not that long. It's just a single player linear experience, and it's probably like $10 right now. So
I think it's
yeah,
sitting in my library somewhere. Was it ever on Steam? It seems like it came out
yes,
back
I think
when
so.
they put the games on Steam. I
I'm
might
pretty
have
sure
it.
it was. Um,
I've got so many games
I
that I've
know, and
never played.
there's some games where it's like I think every week I'm like, oh shit, I need to play that, and then I get in The Witcher or something, and I never. Yeah, I've got Mirror's Edge on Steam right now. I've got 13 hours played, and I think I've played through it like 1.5 times, so it's not that long. Although I don't know if that's an accurate play, whatever. But I've got Wolfenstein, the new Wolfenstein, the newest Wolfenstein
The New
game.
Order.
Yeah, I've got that on Steam, and I've also got the South Park game on Steam.
That
And
was a
those are
good
like two
game.
games that I was really excited to play, and I haven't even installed them.
The South Park
So,
game wasn't worth $60, but
well, I didn't pay.
it
Yeah, I
was
didn't
cool.
pay full price for either one, but um, yeah, they're just sitting there, not being played. But I'm definitely gonna play them. But it's like, when am I gonna fucking get around to playing those? I don't know.
Right. Getting into old games is tough.
Yeah,
It not like to if they're dated or anything. That's not really what I mean. I mean just
yeah.
the
Even though
act
those are old, but
just the act of installing an old game and playing it and getting into it, like investing in it. I don't know. It just seems to take a lot of mental energy. I don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
mean, I
just
know what
weird
you mean.
like that. But
It was hard for me to even get back into. I mean, not once I started playing it, but like it took me a while to get around to start. It took me forever to get to these Witcher expansions that I've had for a while. Um, it's just like once you move past a game, I'll probably never touch Metal Gear Solid 5 again. And I love that
well,
game. I still love that game. I just I never touched the online version, which that doesn't seem great, but it was interesting enough that like I wanted to try it. And
I've never played Metal Gear Online.
yeah, me either. So
Not
I
once.
don't know.
And here Metal Gear Solid 5 sits in my Steam library uninstalled, and
Yeah,
I don't think I'll install it again.
yeah. Maybe I'll try the Metal Gear Online eventually, but
That's
I don't know.
It's even more true for games that have not aged gracefully, like System Shock 2.
Oh yeah, I tried. Playing
Yeah,
through
my
System-
friend
yeah.
keeps trying to get me to play System Shock 2, and I'm sure it's a great game, but
Yeah.
it's you have to be ready. You have to be ready for it because
It's very very old.
Yes.
I never tell people to play Morrowind, even though I love it, because it's too old. It's
Games
the
have gotten
systems
better.
are bad.
it's kind of like that with the first Mother game. RPGs are easier. There's just a lot of menus, so Earthbound I could recommend to somebody. The first Mother game, I wouldn't. If you want to stumble into that on your own, not you would never, because you've already expressed your distaste for these old RPG systems.
Yeah, pretty much.
But even somebody who likes that kind of thing generally, there's just a point where we've gotten better at making games. I don't know if games are better creatively on the whole, but we've
Yeah.
just gotten better at making whatever ideas exist.
UIs and
Yeah.
usability and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just simple, like, concerns for playability. Like, how is the player going to save? In Mother 1, that required 4 different, like, text prompts. It's miserable. It's miserable to just do anything in that game. And that kind of misery is all over the place in old games, where
Yep.
it's just something that you
It's
want to
stuff you
do.
didn't even realize at
Right.
the time.
We've been spoiled, some
Yep.
would say, but it's how it should always have been. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
people
great that
didn't
games are
know.
getting better,
People
but-
didn't know to do things better.
Yeah. Watch Dogs, the complete edition, is the fifth most sold game on Steam right now.
Holy shit.
It is 70% off though, so I guess that's a big reason. But still, what the hell?
I've noticed this. This is not so much about a particular game, but I've I looked at the Dark Souls 3 subreddit, and I've just been seeing, and this is not just on Reddit, it's on lots of places online, even on Twitter. The Dark Souls 2 defense team seems to have been assembling, and
I've seen a huge amount of defense for Dark Souls 2.
I've now seen
3 came out.
dozens of separate people say that Dark Souls 2 is their favorite Souls game.
Yeah.
And that the music in Dark Souls 2 is the best, and they like the bosses the most. And they're not joking. And
I'll say, from what I've seen, most of it has been defending the multiplayer aspects, which, sure.
I'm not including that. I have seen, if I did that, then it'd be in the hundreds. But, I mean, I don't get it. Some people just think strange. Maybe we're the weird ones, huh?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think
here's what I always blame it on, and this is probably not fair.
Teeming
and not true.
masses of unclean
What I blame it on
rodents.
is it's Reddit, and Reddit sucks.
Well, no, it's not just Reddit.
Reddit sucks.
Yes, Reddit does suck. You are 100%
You know, one of the things
correct.
that I really hate about Reddit. So I've been seeing a lot more Reddit stuff lately because at work it's so easy to go on Reddit.
Yep. Because it looks like a website. It's white. It's got some blue text.
And it's just easy. Like, it's just like really quick consumption of information. I hate everything about it though. Especially here's what I've determined to be what I hate most about Reddit. The ability to edit your post.
That is annoying.
Someone will get the top comment because they've been upvoted enough, and they'll edit it, and they'll be like, edit. Wow. Top comment. I can't believe it. Thanks, guys. Or they'll get a bunch of responses.
I
they said
can't
something,
believe my top comment is about pee-pees and
they
doo-doo.
said something vague or stupid or both, and then they say edit. Whoa, calm down, people. I didn't mean this. Here's what I actually meant. And just like,
yeah,
that pisses me off so much. I don't know why. It's such a small thing. I just hate Reddit. I have like this image of everyone behind a Reddit post, and I hate them, and I want to strangle them.
It's one of the most consistently... Okay, so here's how I can rope in Overwatch this week. I knew I'd found some way. Me and the people I play with, Nick especially, we love just being over the top with our shit talk.
Sure.
Just like to the point of being intentionally annoying. So after every game, we immediately say easy, just the letters easy.
Yeah.
Even if it was extremely difficult.
Too easy.
But we all make sure we do it together. And then people inevitably respond, Why would you be this toxic? You know that it was a good game.
The toxic gaming community.
Exactly, and then we just goad them on more, and it's fun. It's fun to do that. That's part of the fun of the game. And when people talk shit to you, it just makes beating them next round more satisfying. And you can't take it too seriously, or there's something wrong with you. But on Reddit, that is not a popular opinion.
No, I wouldn't imagine.
Really, I saw somebody else make a response to a post complaining about toxicity in the Overwatch community. And then they were just like, I think that trash talk is a fun and important part of online multiplayer games. Got downvoted to hell. And everyone was like responding just with these completely overblown, well, maybe you enjoy being a cunt to other people that you don't
person.
even... Yes, that was specifically that phrase was used.
Side of history.
Not that, but you're a bad person was thrown out there. And
that's my least favorite. That's my least favorite thing in general. I have a lot of least favorite things, but you're on the wrong side of history is one of my least favorite arguments online. Period.
Yep.
I hate it when people say that.
Well, it's true. You are on the wrong side of history. That's why you're so upset.
Yeah.
But, so I got involved. I shouldn't have.
Oh, God.
And, so I said, I forget what it was that I said exactly, but, I said I like doing that too. And somebody responded, I said, I remember. I said, you shouldn't take it so seriously. It's just a game. It's not real. and they said, "Oh, it's not real. Just because it's digital. Well, what if I hacked your bank account and emptied all your money, huh? What about the like? That's the terms that these people think about online video games in. They take it so seriously. It's really embarrassing. Is the best word I can find right now. I'm embarrassed."
Oh, and then you see entire threads where everything is deleted because the mods have banned everyone
Of course.
who's tried to have a discussion about some topic because, like, oh, it's doxing because you mentioned
it's
a real
against
person.
Rule 6. It's against Rule 6, 7, 8, subsection C.
Fuck Reddit. Fuck the internet.
Yep, I agree.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have beef right now on Twitter.
I don't fucking care. Jesus, who even knows if it's them? Who knows?
It's almost certainly not Hillary Clinton.
These are accounts run by interns. Come on, like, why care?
Because it's Twitter, and Twitter's really serious.
Yeah, it is. It's the battleground of American politics in 2016.
Do you have anything else news-wise?
I don't.
Do you have any predictions for E3? Do you have any?
Okay, yeah, that would be good.
Let's predictions. Our wise in the year 2000 predictions.
Okay, I guess we can kind of go back and forth to keep, the pace. I think Rhythm Heaven Megamix will get a release date.
Well, Nintendo might not be doing anything other than.
I think
whatever.
It's going to happen.
We'll see.
We'll see Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, I forgot I didn't mention that. I think I already knew this, and then I forgot. It's PS4 only.
Yeah.
I don't have a PS4.
Well, you need a PS4.
Anyway, yeah.
Did you ever play the Bloodborne DLC?
No.
Okay, yeah. If you get that, Horizon Zero Dawn, Last Guardian, then I think that's like a justified purchase.
The Uncharted collection. There's a lot of stuff that I could get on PS4. I've thought about getting one for a while. I'll probably get the old version once the new PS4 comes out.
The longer you wait, the better a decision it becomes.
So, all right. Let's see. I haven't thought about predictions at all. I just threw this out there.
Another prediction: we'll see something of Last Guardian, or it will be dead forever.
Yeah, that's.
They said it's coming out this year.
Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Hopefully.
It'll be fine.
Let's get some wild predictions. How about that?
Wild predictions.
What do you think Microsoft's gonna do?
God, I don't know. You've got Halo 5, I guess.
Well, that came out.
Did 5 come out?
Yeah, it did. It came out like a year ago.
Who gives a shit about Halo anymore?
Yep.
What does Microsoft have other than
I
Halo?
actually don't know. Gears
Crackdown
of War?
3.
Oh, wait, that came out though, didn't it?
No.
Oh, alright.
They actually haven't shown anything recently, I don't think at all.
That's not a wild prediction though. Let's get extreme.
Well, there's not a wild.
Let's get Peter Molyneux
prediction.
extreme.
That'll definitely be there. Shit, yeah. They've got to bring back something old.
Connect.
Crimson Skies. There'll be a new Crimson Skies.
Oh, okay.
On the Xbox One.
All right.
That's a real wild one. I would love that. I loved Crimson Skies. It was a great fucking game. Yeah, maybe Halo 6. It might be too soon. I don't know. Who cares though? Oh God.
I'm gonna go for the
E3
super.
is so weird.
Oh, shit. Wait. They haven't done
the VR stuff, right?
There will be a shit ton of VR stuff. That I'm not
Yeah.
looking forward to at all.
Yeah.
Oh, this is something I can mention. I did get a chance to try a Vive.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah. It was cool. It was absolutely not worth $800. Not
Sure.
even in your wildest fantasy is it worth that much. There was a noticeable screen door effect on the edges. I heard that's on the Oculus too, so know that the Vive has not fixed that problem. It's just something inherent to VR. The one-to-one controllers were really cool. One of my favorite things I got to do was the sketch pad, the Google Sketch thing,
Yeah,
where you're
God, that
painting in
thing's cool.
3D. It was really cool. You could choose what environment you wanted to be in. So I went to
Yeah.
space, and there was a three-dimensional moon in front of me, and I got to like give it a little three-dimensional hat by actually drawing out the whole thing in 3 dimensions and put a little brim on the hat and drew a little face on the
That
moon
is so
that
cool.
extended out and 3D teeth and everything. It was fun. It was really fun. But and I did see that Giant Bomb compilation of VR games aren't quite there yet. You must have seen
Yeah.
that. I don't know how well it's or even what the application is in games. Because when I first heard of VR, I thought it was going to be just giving you a massive, immersive field of view in regular games. I thought you'd sit there with a mouse and keyboard and just play this really, really immersive first-person shooter or something like that. But it doesn't seem like that at all. It seems like only some games work with it, and they basically are all shitty tech demo type games.
I think it just needs time. So here's the
The
thing about
technology
that video.
can be good.
Yeah, and
That's true.
the thing about that video is, I hate that video because I watched that actual stream. That video nitpicked the absolute worst of a hours long stream, and it edited down to like 15 minutes or whatever. There's a lot of really cool stuff. It's still not necessarily anything that makes a good video game. It's all experiences so far.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a chance for. I think part of what you need is the bravery of the developers to do something outside of people's comfort zone. Because right now people are getting sick and they're saying, "Oh, well, I don't like moving while wearing the headset. Like if the character moves, I get sick. I don't like that." And so they're being very, very conservative with what they try. And I think as we move along, it'll get better because, like, I'm sure that was the original argument for using two hands on the keyboard in an FPS. You know, like, well, the mouse is like, it feels so weird. How can we use the mouse? And then once people got used to it, I remember the first time I tried dual joysticks, and I was totally confused and hated it. And then I realized
there was nothing strange about the motion while it was on my head. There was nothing that was moving me forward independent of my head movement. But still, if it's something that you can predict and you're not just getting jerked around,
if you're
randomly,
controlling it.
I just don't really see it. It felt like just a screen that was close to my head.
Yeah, I don't see why. I mean, I get it. Some people do get sick from it or whatever, but I don't think that'll be a problem for me either. But right now, there's very, very few games where you're just a character walking around in a world. Everything limits you to a platform or limits you to a room.
Yeah,
That
was one of the weirdest things. Is everything that they showed was just you stationary, doing something,
and it just feels unnecessary. And there's been some workarounds where like they use the little teleportation stuff, and that works okay. But it seems like an unnecessary workaround because I think that people can get used to just moving around like in a classic video game way. But I've always thought, I mean, I think the main thing that I would want VR for is the cockpit experiences of like being in a space sim or flight sim or something like that and being able to look around in the cockpit. That's huge. Especially like I love flying helicopters in games. If I had VR, it would make flying a helicopter so much easier because like if you're coming in for a landing and you flare up, you have to look down like at your feet, but you can't do that in the game because there's not enough. You don't have enough hands. So that would be a big deal for me, but that doesn't apply to most people who play games, obviously. But I think it'll be big. I don't think it'll be what everyone's playing games on in the future.
Yeah,
but I think it will be a thing. I think
I think so. There's potential, but there's not much but potential right now. It seems like.
Exactly. Nobody's made the software to
and we are definitely going to see a shit ton of VR at E3.
Yeah, and I really wonder what Sony's going to bring to the table because they're trying to make it so mainstream. And
if anybody could get the software train moving, it'd probably be Sony.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. That's the story of VR right now.
I don't know if this is going to be a super boring E3 with nothing interesting happening, or if it'll just be a ton of surprises. Because so far, it's like there's nothing that I'm thinking about like that I'm really interested in.
You ready for the top shelf crazy predictions?
Yeah,
Thing that would shake up this boring E3. Okay, they're not predictions; they're facts. You ready? Mark them on your calendar. Mother 3 localization, Halo 6 PS4 exclusive. What else? New From Software IP.
Red Dead Redemption on the PC. I'm calling it. It's coming this year.
Red Dead Redemption PC, Red Dead Redemption 2 announcement.
Also PC exclusive.
God. Star Citizen, still nothing.
God.
Even in your wildest dreams. It's 2016, Skivvy, and there's no Star Citizen, and no one is surprised.
I was reading, just today, again, I was reading people defending Star Citizen, saying, oh, well, it's a thing. I mean, it works. You can play it.
No.
You can play some modules. You can have some Star Citizen experiences.
I like a good experience, I will say.
Yeah.
Okay, well... I don't really have much grist to make predictions off of.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3 DLC, probably.
I guess
we'll
so,
say something about it.
Yeah. Bloodborne PC, doubt it.
No way. Oh, maybe Demon Souls remaster. That seems, slightly plausible.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not expecting it. But
yeah,
it's something I'll be listening for.
I would be surprised to see it, but it would make sense, I guess.
I would be happy, that's for sure.
I think there's going to be a lot of remasters. I've heard that they're making a Halo 3 anniversary. Now, this was a very unconfirmed rumor, but Halo 3 anniversary, it hasn't even been 10 years yet. I mean, it will be 10 years probably by the time it would come out, but still.
Here's a crazier prediction. Halo 3 PC.
I think that's way more likely than a remaster.
That would be really cool.
Because Microsoft is trying to merge PC with Xbox, so like...
Oh, you know what? That would push a lot of people to do it. I know that you can do the Halo Online thing, the Russian, but nobody does that. Your average customer doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But what might push people onto the Windows Store platform is, hey, you can play Halo 3 on your computer, and the online works perfectly. Just go in and play.
They need exclusives. They need stuff that brings you to use the store, because apparently, from what I've seen of statistics of like, I think Tomb Raider was the example that I saw, where like 98% of the sales were on Steam instead of the Windows Store, and that was supposed to be like their big flagship release. I guess Crackdown 3 is an Xbox exclusive. I imagine that one won't be coming to the PC, but they need to, yeah. I'll be really impressed if they do carry out their, not promises, but what they seem to be implying with how they're supporting the PC platform. But I don't know. I would expect to see Gears of War.
Yeah.
I expect it. I think
they announced a new one, so yeah, there'd probably be more on it.
Yeah, they showed gameplay last year.
Yeah, and it was a cool Last of Us, very serious dark story game.
It was the most forgetful gameplay probably of the entire conference.
Okay.
Do you want to do live streams again? Sunday night is when it starts.
Yeah, I want to do that.
I guess after work Monday, there'll be some conferences.
Is it Sunday? I thought it was like in the middle of the week.
Well, E3 itself starts, I guess, Monday. But Bethesda and now EA, I think those two are doing Sunday.
Okay,
on their own.
I could probably do a Sunday.
Yeah. And then I think the next day is like Xbox, Sony, PC. I think there's some stuff Tuesday too, like Nintendo's Tuesday, but that's their own thing too. I don't think they're doing E3.
Yeah,
officially.
Nintendo's Nintendo, but yeah, I'd be willing to do a live stream. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we'll probably do that. So tune in.
And I'll just stay after.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. This has been Push to Shout, and we will hit you with the latest E3 news once it actually happens. See ya.
Don't even bother watching E3. Just listen to the podcast.
You know, the boys will hook you up.
Yeah.